Hey, I'm Justin Scott. I'm here in Nashville today filming some videos with Meinl, so I thought I'd take a minute and tell you about my drumsticks and my cymbals. So I'm using the Meinl Stick Brush Hybrid 9A maple stick, and this is one of my favorites. It's the lightweight of the maple is just fantastic. I think the overall size of 9A just feels really good to me, and I love the kind of barrel tip on it. Over here on my left, I'm using the Artist Concept Model Temporal Stack 2. And I also have an 8-inch Brilliant Splash stacked on top of it. And I love this stack. It just, I've used it for a number of different things. Sometimes I have it on different places on my kit. But I really like the way the splash works on that stack. And then over here, I'm using the Byzance 19-inch extra thin hammered crash. These are some of the most buttery sounding cymbals ever, and I really liked the 19-inch version. So sometimes I have it in different places, but I really like it over here on my left. And then for the hi-hats, I'm using the Byzance Big Apple Dark 15-inch hats. These are some of my favorite hats because I think they're extremely versatile. They're really, dark, but they give you a little bit of that metallic sound that I like. So I think they cut through a mix really well without being too bright. And on top of the hats, I've got the Ajuch bells. Just gives it a nice little bell sound that I dig. Over here, I'm using the Byzance Vintage 20-inch crash. This is one of my very favorite crashes, particularly just kind of like a main left side crash. I love the tone of it. It has a very unique tone that I just can't get enough of, so I really dig that as a left side crash. On top of this crash, I'm using the Byzance Vintage Trash Splash. Just a really trashy splash. Sometimes I like to stack that on things. I'll stack it sometimes over here, but I really dig it right here on my left side. Over here underneath the Vintage Crash, I've got the Artist Concept Model Crasher hats, and I love these things. I've always kind of wanted a mini hi-hat sounding stack, and I actually kind of order it differently. I put one of the heavier cymbals on top because I like the attack that it has. But I've always wanted something like that, and so I'm really happy with that stack. So over here, I'm using the 16-inch Byzance Extra Dry Medium Thin hats, and I've actually got the Byzance Vintage Trash Crash, the 16-inch Trash Crash, stacked on the bottom cymbal. And I think that's a Richard Spavin thing that he did with his hi-hats, and I just like that it adds a little bit of trashiness to the sound of the hats. So I like to use that on my right side. My ride cymbal is the Byzance 22-inch Sand Ride. I really dig this cymbal. I think it's such a kind of do-it-all type ride cymbal. I feel like I could play just about anything with this cymbal. It's heavy enough where you get kind of a good ping and a really sharp bell, but it also washes well and crashes well, opens up really well. So just a fantastic ride. Over here above the ride, I'm using the 18-inch Byzance Dual Crash-Ride, and that one has a really cool kind of white noise sound to it that I just love. I listened to a bunch of different trash crashes, and I just thought that this one was just exactly what I was looking for. And then above that, inverted, I've got the Byzance 6-inch Traditional Splash, which is just a really fast sounding little splash. And I really like having it over on my right side. And then down here, I'm using a stack, or basically a giant set of hi-hats. On the bottom, I'm using a 20-inch Byzance Dual Crash-Ride. And then the top cymbal for the hi-hats is a 20-inch Pure Alloy Custom Trash Crash. I mean, both of these cymbals sound incredible by themselves. I use them a lot by themselves, but it's just a really cool sounding stack. Basically, I set up like a hi-hat, and I've got it so that it's just barely open and they kind of sizzle, and that way you get a little bit of sustain from it. But I really like that stack a lot. Over on my right here, I'm using the Byzance 22-inch extra thin hammered crash, and this is a crash that I've wanted for a long time. Something that has a ton of low end, kind of a trashy quality to it. but I don't know, the thinness of the cymbal and the kind of the depth of the cymbal, I just love it. So to me, it's just the perfect like right side cymbal. So that's my whole cymbal setup and the sticks that I use. So thanks for checking out the video.